you're 6 years old, you're playing with your G.I. Joes, and you're really into it, man. You're like, I got Flint, I got Lady J, it's game on here. You're playing with, not that kind of playing with G.I. Joe. Playing with G.I. Joe, and your dad walks into the neighbor, and you're making all your noises, and you're like, hey, it's neighbor Bob, this is my son, Stan, and Stan is playing with G.I. Joes. You don't care about neighbor Bob. You want to play with his G.I. Joes, right? And your dad's like, I'm really sorry, my son, he's really shy. You weren't shy. You just didn't want to meet the neighbor guy with the weird mustache and bad breath. You want to play with the G.I. Joe. So then as you got older and more people started saying you're shy, you started buying their lie and then retelling their lie to other people. Because there's no such thing as a shy baby. You were not born that way. Someone told you you were that way. You bought that lie, and guess what? You can change that lie as well. But I know this for sure. I don't know any timid, successful people. Timidity is an enemy of your success. And if you don't get your enemies, guess what? Your enemies are going to do what? Number one, the last one, complainers. This is the worst one. I'd rather deal with somebody that's got all the other 5 combined than this one right here. There are legitimate feedback and concerns, and then there's complaining. And there's a difference between the two. Right? Anybody know the person when you're at work or when you were at work and you were hanging out with your coworkers and the person walks to the door and all of you guys look at each other and go, look at the time, gotta go. Anybody know somebody like that? Newsflash, if you walk through the door and everybody disappears, you are that person. It is almost impossible to tell a complainer that they're a complainer. They're the most defensive people on planet Earth, and they'll complain about the reason why they're a complainer. There's legitimate feedback for concerns, and then there's complaining. You know what I like about this business is you get to choose who you work with. And I can promise you, these ambassadors are not going to work with a complainer. They're just not. Here's my favorite one in the world. You got super complainer. Right before your speaker's about to come on stage, they'll run up. Hey, did you know that I ordered my product and then it got delayed in the shipping, and then when it finally showed up, the UPS tore the box apart, and then I opened it up and it had the wrong box of cookies in there. I ordered peanut butter, and this is oatmeal raisin. And then when I called, I got put on hold for like 15 minutes because apparently there's lots of people calling, but I was going to put on hold. And then when I told them what my problem was and yelled at them and complained like crazy, they weren't very nice to me. What are you going to do about this? Oh, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Not work with you anymore. That's what I'm going to do. Life is too short. It's too short. Guys, it's too short to work with, or it's way too short to be. You will drive everyone out of your life that you care about with this one right here. This is the one out of all of them that needs to be fixed the most. How many of you guys are forced to sit next to people at work that are these types of people, right? Day in and day out. How many of you guys are excited about the fact that one day you won't and you'll choose who you want to work with? Complaining is an enemy of your success, and if you don't get your enemies, guess what? Okay, that's the bad news. Let's talk about the good news. You want to talk about some good news? There is a day that your life turns around. I don't know when that day is, but here's what my hope is. I hope that day is today. My hope is that this afternoon becomes the day that you choose that your life changes forever for the better. Which means you go from who you are today to a better version of who you are today in every area of your life. Anybody want today to be the day? I was completely underwhelmed and underimpressed with that. Is anyone out here going to make today the day? All you need is one of these things to happen. Not all of them, just one. Just one. Here's the first one. The day you get disgusted. Disgust is a very powerful emotion. This is not, I really don't like, I'm sort of frustrated with, no. When you say I'm disgusted with something, that means something. I'm frustrated with how I look. Well, you probably look that way for a while until you get disgusted. Disgust creates change. Get disgusted with your finances. Get disgusted with your job. Get disgusted with your debt. Get disgusted with your situation. Get disgusted with guys not being able to see your shoes over your little pot belly. Get disgusted with it, right? Because disgust creates change. Most of you use disgust in the wrong way. You redirect disgust in a negative way at yourself, with self beating up, and you also project that at people you love because you're disgusted with something in your life. See, you must redirect disgust into positive action. You must redirect negative emotion into positive action. And I know there's people out there like, oh no, you should never feel a negative feeling. You should And I do respect that, but I'm going to tell you that you can get disgusted and become really successful if you will just channel it the right way.
Here.
Yes. Has anybody ever become disgusted with a situation that you changed it for the better and made it happen? Anybody else? I hope today is the day that you become disgusted enough. But if not, maybe it's the day that you make a decision. It doesn't have to be disgust. Maybe this is just the day you decide. This is different. This is the day that you stop analyzing. This is the day that you stop being paralyzed by fear. Or, watch this one, this is the day that you stop procrastinating. Procrastination is suicide on the installment plan. It's only a matter of time. Little installment. Oh, I'm going to work out someday. Oh, I'm going to clean the junk drawer someday. Really? Not so sure. How many of you guys have had a junk drawer your entire life? Okay, you're not going to clean it. Here's my favorite people. People that, the best liars out there say things like this. I'm going to quit smoking right after this pack. Lie. When you make a decision, you decide it. You don't decide after you're done, before you're done. You decide or you don't decide. There's no gray area there. You don't eat a pizza. I can't say that one. Somebody said that on a pizza bar. You don't eat a Big Mac, extra value meal, supersized. Guys, it's not the food that's supersized. It's you that's supersized, right?
Yes.
You don't eat that and go, yeah, I'm going to get in shape. French fry. I'm here dipped in mayo. Here. I'm going to get in shape after the new year. That's not a decision. Decision comes from from a Latin root word that means to cut off from. So if you were to decide something, what would you be cutting off from? Everything else. If you decide to lose weight, you cut off from every option not to lose weight. If you decided to make this business happen, you've cut off from all other options of failure. If you decided to go to Kansas City, you'll find a way. You will find a way. You must make a decision. And the day you make a decision is the day your life turns around. And it was not the day or simple. It was desire. Where am I happy classes out there? I have fun people where I am. Desire is the opposite of disgust, right? So we have a balance here. Disgust is I'm so upset with the situation to do something about it, and desire is, oh my God, I'm so filled up with something, you know, I gotta make it happen. It's just different, right? Desire is something that you feel inside and that just burns with great energy. I don't mean like you got like acid reflux burn. I mean like it's a good burn. You know, and Think and Grow Rich, he calls it a burning white heat of desire. A burning white heat of desire. He doesn't just call it desire. Some of you out there are filled up with desire. You're filled up with it. But you lack a system to be let loose on. Some of you after today are going to have that same desire to fill you up. And when somebody has a desire to do something, a non-stoppable desire to do something, nothing and no one, period, can stand in their way of success. The last one that triggers the day your life turns around is resolve. Many of you want to make a promise to us. You want to walk up to, all your 5 stars, Kristen and Ryan. You want to promise them. You want to walk up to Sam and RJ. And you want to make a promise to them. I promise I'm going to do this. And I promise I'm going to do that. And I'm going to make this happen. Watch me. Remember my name. Remember my. See this right here? Remember that? See this face? And that's okay, but there's nobody that you got to make a promise to but you. That's it. Resolve is when you make a silent promise to yourself that you're going to make it and you're never going to quit. That's resolve. How many of you out there are going to make it and never quit? Maybe today you're going to make a decision finally. Maybe today you're going to be filled up with that white, burning heat of desire. Or maybe today you make the silent promise to yourself. But I do know that there is a day when your life turns around, and it's when one of these 4 things happen to you. Hey, is today that day for anybody in this room? Well, today if today's the day for 20 of you, that's 20 new ambassadors. That's 20 new ambassadors. Those 20 that stood up, that's 20 new ambassadors in my eyes. Bravo to you if today is your day. Guys, what we're talking about here is creating a personal revolution. That's what we're talking about. We cannot become a billion-dollar company unless you grow. We cannot become the first product company in the North America $2 billion in sales unless I grow. We cannot become bigger than Herbalife unless our 5 stars have a personal revolution.